got to really know who your target market is and talk to them.
I'm Charly, your online business manager and WordPress expert. My goal is to assist small to medium business owners build their businesses with a focus on using the internet and online technologies in appropriate and cost-effective manner. People hire me to take the stress out of managing their businesses and allow themselves to focus on what they do best. Today, I have a guest. My guest is biz coach Steve Feld, a certified business coach, TEDx presenter, author, podcast host, professional speaker, mastermind, facilitator, and coffee enthusiast. I feel like I need a coffee after that. Steve's passionate about having small business owners and entrepreneurs achieve massive revenue and profitability growth by utilizing simple, proven strategies and tactics to build a long-term sustainable business. Steve takes the overwhelm out of business and has owned and operated 7 lucrative businesses while providing change management and process improvement for others. In addition to all of that, he's operated within 3 Fortune 500 companies and written 8 books about business for entrepreneurs. There we go. Please welcome biz coach Steve Feld. Steve, I'm really, really excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for saying yes. I think what I'd like to do is just get you to start a little bit with embellishing on what I've just shared, because that was what you gave to me, and I hope I did that justice for you. And then have a talk about your topic and what it is you want to share with us today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thank God I found my passion years and years ago. It took a while, as we all know, growing up, what do you want to be when you grow up kind of thing. But I started working with entrepreneurs, other fellow business owners, and I started realizing that's where my passion lies, is seeing them grow their businesses as well. So everything I've done since I've come to that awakening has been helping small business owners, entrepreneurs realize their dreams, because the failure rate in the entire world for entrepreneurs it's pretty high.
It's astronomical. It really is. Now, I can't remember the statistics, but I think it's saying like 3% of businesses will succeed over 5 to 10 years or something. So if your business, most businesses fail within the first 12 to 18 months, and then you get an attrition. But businesses that last longer than 5 to 10 years is just not all that big.
Yeah, it's actually 8% of businesses will still be around if they start after the 10-year mark. 8%. And 8%. That includes acquisitions and mergers.
So that's even after acquisitions and murders.
Yeah, murders.
That it's 8%. So that's 92% of businesses basically disappear.
And a quarter of them fail in the first 2 years. Half of them are gone by the 5th year.
So I think that's where your topic today comes in too, isn't it? Now, from what you told me, you want to talk about the fact that our message is our money. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. We've heard, and I know the listeners are going to be shaking their heads yes on this. Someone has always said, or maybe they even said, Facebook ads don't work. Google ads don't work. This kind of direct mail doesn't work. And it goes on and on. All these things don't work. The truth is, those are the tactics. You got to work on the strategy part, which is the messaging and the content. That's more important. And they're ignoring it. So they're putting all this money into like internet, social media ads, and they're getting 0 results. Well, your message sucks. That, I'll be honest, it sucks. And the reason it sucks is it's not talking to your target market and addressing their problems and how are you solving them. It's that simple. Most messages is buy my junk. That's pretty much what it is. And we as consumers are so immune to that type of marketing nowadays. That means you have to bombard us with marketing so much before we even acknowledge that it exists.
I'm going to totally agree with that. And particularly in the economic situation we're in, we don't have as much disposable income. We don't even have as much income to spend on the essentials. And what we now class as essentials are smaller. It's a
Right.
narrower band. And if you want me to spend my money with you, well, you need to speak to me.
That's it. And
So
this is where you got to really know who your target market is and talk to them. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Well, I'm ignoring all this other revenue and all these other customers. Listen, if you focus on who your true target market is and solving their problems, you're going to attract some other people, but other people, it's not their market. They're not going to listen, and you're okay. The markets are big enough. You're going to be fine.
So you said a couple of things there is I'm ignoring all this extra revenue. Well, it's only extra revenue if you can convert it. That's the
Right.
first thing that I learned. And I learned this not just as a business person, as doing anything. If you want to go and get fit, you don't go and work on your whole body all at once. You work on small things and improve one thing at a time. And as a business owner, I take that into my business as well. It's not just
Right.
it's not just, oh, I've got this really wide market. No. Um, so how do you recommend to people? I mean, what's your steps in this? How do you recommend it? My first question would be, well, how do I identify my target market? I'm not sure if that's where you want to go with this or whether there's another place you would start on that. But that would kind of be my first thing is before I
Yeah.
even start trying to work out what my message is and how to market to them is who am I talking to?
That's it. And a lot of people are like, they just ask that question. I don't know who my target market is. Well, if you've been selling any of your products or services, the simplest thing is to ask whoever bought your products or services, what attracted you to me? That's the simplest thing. And then look at them, look at their demographics, their psychographics. What are their size businesses? If it's B2B, if it's a consumer, where do they live? What do they spend on? Where do they like to shop? Who are these people? And if you have zero customers, then it comes back down to where's your passion? Who do you like to work with the most? I'm working with a coach right now. He goes, well, I want to work with everyone. Stop that first. If you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to all of them. That's as simple as that. Amazon is not everything to everyone. They are not. Believe it or not, they target each of one of their markets. They know who their market is for each one of their lines of business. And they speak to those people only. Guess what? Are there outliners? Yes. But that's where the little funny thing that comes in on Amazon, people like you also bought. So they're getting you an identifier that, oh, well, Charly's like me. Well, I like what she bought, so I'm going to buy that too. Because we're the same. We're in the same target market. We're speaking the same language. We just bought the same product. So we are their target market. And they know ancillary products. You could do this in your business. So if you like working with, say, physical therapists, great, start there. Could it expand out? Absolutely. But start with one. And I call it the Amazon theory. I love using them as an example because they only started with one product, one service, and that was selling books, period. They didn't sell anything else, right? So they focused on people who love to buy books on this brand new thing called the internet. That's it. Were they being everything to everyone? Nope. They knew who their market was. Once they figured it all out and worked on it and worked out the kinks of how to sell books to people who like buying books on the internet, then they moved to CDs and hyper focused on CDs. Different market. It was a totally different market, different message, different marketing. You could do the same thing in your business.
I actually want to just dig down on that one a little too, because you said, they started off just selling books. It was actually really more niche than that because they were selling books to people
Right.
who wanted to buy online.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did not
Buying the
go
internet.
out to go head to head with bricks and mortar bookstores. That was actually one of their stated things was, no, we're not at a bricks and mortar bookstore. This is
And
what
they
we
even
do.
were proud of it. And that was the allure to those people. So if you like to go to the bookstore and browse and everything, They're like, hey, that's great, but we have this. It's different. We might not be the place for you. And they were fine with it. Did they convert those people? Yeah, because people go to the
Eventually.
bookstore and can't find the book. They go on Amazon and look, there's the book.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I really just love that whole just be really focused. Like it's laser focus on your niche.
It
Know
is.
what your niche is. And we talk about niches all the time. And I'm sure people roll their eyes and go, oh, that's just a buzzword. Yeah, it is, but it's actually a really valid buzzword in this
Right.
in our business. You've got to know who you're focusing on. And just from my own personal perspective, I started off offering technical services to women. Now, I picked up male clients along the way, and I got to say that my marketing, you look at it, I'm pink, I'm purple, I've got all these beautiful things around me. I focus on women. Women come to me for help. I do get men, but I'm not gonna try and sell to you because you're not my focus. So
That's it.
that's a good part of it all. And yeah, that's where you start. What do you do next then? I mean, once you've got all that happening, you then got to focus on what your messaging is. How do you test that? What do you?
Well, you really need to know the problems of your target market. So this is where it takes a little brainstorming, a little devil's advocate with someone. What are their problems? And then you have to have the solutions. Or you could start, here are the solutions I have. But are they the problems, the real problems that that target market has? Odds are, if you come up with the solutions first, you're missing the mark because you don't know their true problems, the problems that is going on in this inside of their head, not what you think it is. And that's a big problem with a lot of small business owners. They're thinking, well, my market can't afford this. Well, that's you're buying out of your pocketbook, and you didn't find out if that's true from your target market, which it's usually false. So you need to find out what are their problems. Then you had the solutions, find out the top 3 of their problems, because it could be a many, and then come up with the top 3 solutions to equal it. Now you got something. So like you're saying, I'll use a business coach I know. She only works with women between the ages of 45 and 65 who are leaving corporate jobs and becoming entrepreneurs. We're narrowing it down, right?
That's focused.
She speaks to them. Are you burnt out at the company? Have you have an idea for a business? Are you ready to be your business owner? Here, take this survey to see if you're ready to be a boss. She does all these things. She speaks to them, speaks their language, and like people say, this woman is speaking to me. How does she know? That's when you know you're solving their problems.
So let me just paraphrase that a little for again. The first thing that you said that really hit me, and it was something that I'd learned along the way, of course, was what questions are they asking?
That's it.
If you go on Google and look at the tools that Google give you, what are the questions being asked around your product or service? Go out and solve those problems. Give them the answers to those problems.
Absolutely. I work with a lot of CPAs. I don't know why I got niched into that, but I speak their language. So what I did years and years ago is I first started polling CPAs. I'd say, hey, can I buy you lunch or coffee? And I just want to ask questions. In your opinion, what are the top 10 problems that you see facing a CPA nowadays as a business owner? They tell me, and I go and collect all these. And then I did research on Google, and guess what? They were just in a different alignment, and now I have 2 different sets of data points, and they were actually matching. So now I've looked at all the stats when I asked these interviews. I found the top 3, and guess what? I had the solution for those top 3. So now, are you a CPA? And I give those 3 problems. Well, then here's what you're probably, and do it in a way I'm providing the solution. So now when I talk to a CPA, I go, man, I bet you're totally burnt out during tax season. Oh, you have no idea. I go, hmm, I bet one of your biggest challenges is probably hiring people. Oh, how do you know that? That's what I hear. Hmm. You know, and if you're like most CPAs, you probably haven't updated your systems in at least 5 years. He goes, oh, dang it, that's right. I do have to update all my systems. And I go, yeah. And it's funny how, the plumbers always has a leaky faucet at home. I'm sure you probably do your own books and things get thrown through the cracks. And they're all like, do you have a spy in my office? And I just start asking them like that. And next thing you know, they're like, well, what do I do? I go, well, I got the solutions.
So they're actually coming to you then and asking you to help them. You're not even trying to sell them at this point. They're actually
No,
asking you. They're literally telling you to sell to them.
they are.
You've still got to sell to them, but they're literally asking you to sell to them.
Yeah, I have a guide how to find a good CPA for your business. So not every business needs a CPA. Not every business needs certain types of CPA. So I just made a guide. I got the guide from talking to all these CPAs going, oh, not everyone needs a CPA. And they're telling me all this. So I collected all that data and made like a mini book out of it.
That's fantastic. That's such a good thing. The other thing that I think I picked up out of that is so many of us in business will go and see someone and say, the answer's this. What was the question?
Right.
And yeah, you've lost them. You have lost your person at that point because they're not going to listen to you because you're already telling them things that they don't want to hear. They've got their own things that they want to know about. So once you've got them to that point, so you've got your target audience, you're starting to get what the problems are. What do you do if you have a product or a service, or the products or services? Let me rephrase that slightly. Don't match what your clients are looking for, that your target audience is looking for. I mean, that would say to me that you're in the wrong business to begin with.
Right. That's it. That's absolutely true. It's like either you change your products and services or go get a different target market. I mean, I'll give you a great example. I've been teaching a class for 7 years called ABCs of Starting a Business. And we give the good, the bad, the ugly. And of course, when we ask, okay, who knows their target market, only maybe one or two hands come up and they always go, everyone. Great. What's your business? Well, I sell women's bohemian high-heeled shoes.
Yeah, you're going to
Okay.
get a middle-aged man coming in wanting to
Yeah.
buy those.
So we pulled the room right there. It's like, first, I'm out, right? I'm a male, straight male. So I'm out. So all the straight males, you just lost 50% of everyone. Now that means 50% of females are left. So do elderly and children and babies buy all your shoes? Well, no. Okay. Now we're down to 25%, maybe 20%. Okay, what is the age group who buys your shoes? And we start going like that. And then afterwards, took less than 5 minutes, she realized she's been marketing to everyone and she wondered why she couldn't sell a shoe.
She can't get her message right. Just is not getting out there.
And it
Well,
was the simplest thing. It's like, show a picture of your ideal client wearing your shoe, which says everything because it's a product. I mean, look at all the products that are being sold on TV. It's their target market holding or touching that product. So they're telling you this is who our target market is.
clever. Very clever. Okay. Yes. So this is how you work with your clients. Do you take clients on?
Yeah, I have one-on-one. I do a lot of group coaching, which I love, and I've been focusing this year a lot on masterminds. So I have one current mastermind group running, and we always bring people in, and they're more than happy to accept because it's like the more the merrier up to a point. And then I also have automated programs as well.
Excellent, excellent. Now I know you've got some offers for us towards which I'll get to in just a moment, so that people can find out more about you. Is there sorry, is there a message that you'd like listeners to take away with them today?
Yeah, I'll give the greatest lesson I learned the hardest way. Like any entrepreneur, I'm stubborn and I had an ego, all past tense. And I thought I could do it all by myself. The day I brought on a coach, a mentor, an advisor, my life changed for the better in 45 days because, we only know what we know and we get stuck in our own BS and we buy our own BS. And when I brought on a coach, it changed my life. And since this day, I've always had a coach, a mentor, or advisor. I have now all of them because they all have different functions in my life. And I will never, ever not do that again because I learned my lesson the hard way. We all need help.
So let me just ask that question then, because I can hear people saying, oh, but I can't afford a coach and they're so expensive and I can't afford the time to go to coaching. And I think that's more because they don't really understand what a coach will do for you. So how did they change your life, Steve?
Well, one business, I had a retail store and everything I did, marketing, advertising, networking, it was flat. I mean, I was getting zero return on my investment, my time, my money, everything. So me being a normal business owner, I started grinding harder. Well, it's spinning your wheel in mud. Then I met with a whole bunch of people I know, business owners, and I finally gave the open conversation like, yeah, my business is in the hole. I'm in debt. My wife's ready to leave me. Married at that time. Now we're not. And my whole life was just I hated, I dreaded going to my own store. I dreaded it.
Heartbreaking, isn't it?
I was down and miserable, losing weight because I can't eat because it's stress, you can't sleep. It was just like health issues now. And my group, they're like, hey, you need a coach. You just need someone to talk to get out of this, to start a conversation. So I said, all right. So I called people I knew and interviewed coaches because I just don't grab the first person I knew. And then I found someone who will give me tough love, tell me the truth, and then point me in the right direction and say, I said, here's the rails I want to be on. They go, well, then now I'm going to make sure your train stays on those rails. And every now and then I might have to kick you in the backside to get that train back on the rail. Great. I don't know what that looks like, but let's go. And 45 days later, it was like, we were going, here's all the marketing things I'm doing. And she's like, stop the insanity. Let's narrow it down to where your target market is and focus on 1 to 2 things to really focus on. Meanwhile, I'm trying everything. I was trying, you name it, what kind of marketing. And that kind of helped get the focus. And then we worked on the messaging. She goes, does that really talk to your target market? I'm like, but you're so into it, you don't see this stuff. And, she said, well, here's what you got to do at home, like date night and all these little teeny tiny changes. But it was right here. And being a business owner, so stuck in it, you don't see it. So it kind of removed that and opened it up. And I started breathing again 45 days later. All of a sudden, my store was making money.
Tell me, obviously you learned new things in all of that, but were they telling you things you already knew?
Always. It was everything I knew, but you're so into it, you don't see it. You really don't see it. I mean, Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player ever lived, in my opinion, he had 20 coaches. So he's the best. No one was better. He still had a shooting coach, a dribbling coach, a passing coach, because he said, it was in one of his books, I can only see what I can see. A coach sees things in me I cannot identify, and they bring it out and push me to a higher level.
If Michael Jordan, the greatest basketballer, in your opinion,
yeah.
I'm not making that opinion because I don't follow basketball, can take a coach, then I think we all can take coaches. I think that's a really good message for us to take on board.
Once I learned that, I was like, Well, why does he need a shooting coach? I mean, he still makes game winners, but he missed more game winning shots than he made. And he had a coach working with him on game winning shots.
Okay, so is that why he needed the coach? Because he missed more than he took?
The coach pushed him to take the shot and to calm himself, bring him to center, not let your emotions take over you. So the coach worked him to control the adrenaline rush for that game-winning shot, as well as the wrist movement, everything. So if he did not have a coach, he would not be known for making all those game winners because he wouldn't have taken them.
Good point. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Sorry, not a sports fan.
Yeah.
Not a sports person. There we go. So tell me, how can people find out more about you, Steve? Certainly want to be able to get people in touch with you. I would encourage people to find coaches and work with coaches. It's very, very important. So how can people get in touch with you? And would you like to tell us about the offer you'd like to make us?
Sure. Well, you could go on my website, which is BizCoachSteve, B-I-Z, CoachSteve.com. And you mentioned earlier, I wrote 8 books. One of them was how to find a business or why you need a business coach. And it even gives you questions to ask to interview business coaches. So that's on the website as well.
Fantastic.
I want to help
That's a good
people.
one.
It's like, even if it's not me, someone probably out there right for you. That's fine. Just get the help. I'm happy. I just want to help you. The offer, I think we have the proven book, Proven Marketing Secrets. I think that's it, right?
I think so. I don't have my notes here. I'm sorry.
I got so many books. So, Proven Marketing Secrets. It just shows 8 simple strategies that any business can put in their business right away without spending an additional penny on marketing or advertising. It's just 8 simple things. You might go, oh, I know that. But have you ever done it? And do you know how to implement it? And it goes through the book. In the book, it tells you all that.
Fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all of these details in the notes for this show. So check the show wherever you're listening to it. The details will be there. And please, if you do need a coach and you think Steve's a good fit, get in touch with him. Otherwise, definitely grab that book that talks about how to find a business coach or how to find a coach in general.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I really would like to highlight out of all of that bit is that it's not a one size fits all.
Nope.
Just because you have a friend that is using a coach doesn't mean that their coach is going to be the right fit for you. Just because you've got a coach and it's not working out for you, that's not about the fact that coaching isn't working for you. It's just that you haven't found the right person to help you out. So keep
I'll be
trying.
honest. I've gone through many coaches, and I find a coach that needs to solve this thing in my life. And once it's solved, I don't need that type of coach anymore. I have to find the next coach.
There's that as well. And yeah, as my dad always tells me, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find that princess.
That's so true.
Look, Steve, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I really do appreciate it. I've learned heaps. You've reminded me that I've got to get out of my own way. And I need to go back and have a look at a few of my own strategies that I've been putting in place as well. Is there anything, one sentence you'd like to leave us on?
If you need the help, get the help. Really, don't wait. Put your ego aside. Believe me, it's going to be the best thing you ever did.
Fantastic. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. I certainly did. And Steve, thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest today.
Great. Thank you for having me.